Okay, it's me, James, and I'm here with Ben. Hello, Ben.
Hello.
And we have got a treat for you. Unaccustomed as we are, we have got a spoiler. Can you believe it? I was talking to Stephen Crookus from DM Armada the other day, and he said he's had loads of fun with the spoilers, and he was kind enough to bequeath to us one of the last two cards to be spoiled from the Infinity Gauntlet set, which is coming out hopefully very soon. So, should we do it, Ben?
Yes, let's get down to it.
Without further ado, let's. I really don't know. I don't know how to build up spoilers. So here it is. If I press this button, which is labelled A, it should appear on your screen. Drum roll, please.
I don't know how to do a drum roll.
It's there. It's
Ooh.
Adam Warlock, leader of the Infinity Watch. He's a 6-cost mask with the Infinity Watch affiliation symbol, and his text reads: while active, when a die with Energize is spent as energy and leaves the reserve pool, roll it. On any energy face, use its Energize effect, and in brackets, the die does not return to the reserve pool regardless of the result. And he's got some nice stats on him. He's a 135, 155, 266. What do we think about that, Ben?
Yeah, it's a very interesting card, isn't it? It's definitely a more Timmy than did it Johnny? I don't know. I can't remember what things are. But
it's not very spiky.
It's not a spiky. Yes, sure. All the E's at the end. But it's very interesting. It's cool. Possibly cool effects going off with it. Energize has always been something that's a weird take on the mechanics of the game. So it'll be interesting to see how this one plays out.
I've got a definition of Energize in case anybody doesn't know what it is. If I press the button E, that will appear on screen. It says, whenever you roll this die on one of its double energy faces, you must use its Energize effect. This isn't optional. During the roll and reroll step, only check at the end of the step. The character with Energize does not need to be active for the ability to trigger. So what are some of the existing Energize abilities, Ben, that we already have in the game?
Yeah, so we've had a few from the X-Men Forever team box and affiliated team packs, didn't we? So we had a few. So the Domino, I think, is probably the most obvious one, but also Forge, I think, seen quite a lot of play, as well as a few of us were trying to mess around with that Psylocke, which lets you field psychics from your use pile, I think.
Yep, she says you may field a psychic die from your use pile, exactly as you say. And the other ones Ben mentioned were Forge, who says action dice cost you 2 less to purchase until end of turn even, and Domino says deal 1 damage to target opponent and re-roll this die. That's one of the only sort of self-triggering. I think that is the only self-triggering re-roll thing. Right?
Yeah.
But the typical one would be Forge. So if I roll my Forge die, and I'll try and get it in the middle of the mat so you can actually see it, and I rolled it straight to double energy, that means I must trigger his Energize ability. So my action dice cost 2 less each, and if I have, for example, some 3-cost God catchers, I can actually use the energy from the energized die to buy those. So not only do I get the effect, but I can also spend 2 bolts to buy 2 3-cost God catchers. Ooh, you can't see them. There they are. Magic. Okay. So we're going to take, in the next few minutes, take a look at some of the new cards from the upcoming Infinity Gauntlet set that we could use with Adam Warlock and hopefully make something fun out of it. So the first one is, it's the Spot Phase Shift. He's the uncommon. He's a 2-cost shield with a villain affiliation, and his text is Energize. Target character die can't block this turn. So basically what happens is you roll your Spot to one of its 2 energy faces. The single energy face doesn't work for the initial Energize trigger, and you get to name a die on the other side of the field that can't block this turn. Then you spend your 2 shields on something, and when the die moves from reserve to out of play, when you spend it, Adam will trigger, and he says roll Spot again, and this time if it rolls on any energy face, including the single energy face, you get to use the Energize ability for the second time. So for a 2-cost shield, you get, as long as you roll properly both times, you get to say that 2 characters on the other side of the field can't block. Nice. The next one up is Black Widow, Widow's Hunt. That's the rare. She's a 2-cost mask, again with the Infinity Watch affiliation, and she says spin target opposing character die down 1 level. If that character die is already level 1, spin it to an energy face of your choice. Ben, what do you think about that one?
Yeah, kind of a bit more useful than the spot, probably in general senses. For a start, it's masks, which will help you buy that Adam Warlock. But without that, it's just great removal. It's not great removal, but it's very interesting removal, isn't it? It's a fun non-when fielded removal, which is very interesting.
When it's only 2 cost, which is
And it's only a 2 cost, which
cool.
is great. Yeah, they always make Black Widows very strong, don't they?
So if you manage to do your Energize effectively twice, then you will get to spin presumably 2 characters down 1 level or 1 character down 2 levels, I guess.
Yep. Yeah, particularly sidekicks are level 1 as well, so it works to get rid of sidekicks to clear the field as well a bit. But in general play, it's probably more useful than the spot.
Yep. Okay. Let's move on to the next one. I think we're going up in cost now because we've run out of really good 2-cost energized characters. The next one is Star-Lord. The first one's the rare. Star-Lord, King of Spartax. He's a 4-cost fist with the Guardians affiliation and DM Armada's logo in the middle of his face. He's got Rush. See DM Armada's video on Rush for that, I think. But he's also got Energize. Up to 2 target character dice gain Call Out. Remind us, Ben, what is Call Out?
So Call Out is basically you choose 1 die that has Call Out, you attack with that die, and then you can choose an opposing character, which has to block that die. Otherwise, nothing can block it, basically.
Yeah, you get to determine the only die which can block
that
it
can
if it's
block.
blocked at all.
Your opponent could choose not to block, but
yeah. And if he combos with Adam, if you manage to trigger his Energize twice, then you get to do that to 4 different characters, which seems like it might be fun.
Yeah, very cool.
Speaking of Star-Lord, we're going to come on to the super rare, which is, you can see it's slightly different from the image. It's a prototype, so this is one Ben actually pulled at Worlds, right?
Yeah, I actually chose this one in a draft over the rare Spider-Man prototype, which might be... It was a super rare, I don't know, and I read this rare Spider-Man wrong. I got the common rare and super rare version of Star-Lord, which is pretty cool. But yeah.
He says, Energize up to 2 target character dice, get +2 attack until end of turn. So now you're giving, if you manage to trigger it twice, 4 characters +2 attack. Yeah, you could, but you wouldn't have to target the same characters. So
you could.
You could do 2 with +4 or 4 with +2. Nice.
Yes. Yeah.
Cool. Okay. I've kind of forgotten what's coming next, but I know it's another 4-cost. Let's see what it is. It's Doctor Strange Time Gem, who's a 4-cost mass again with the Infinity Watch doodah, and his Energize ability says draw and roll a die. That die can't be re-rolled this turn, and he has a global, which is the force attack. Pay a mask. Target character die must attack this turn. And he's got some massive stats on him for a 4-cost. He's a bit sort of Becky-like.
He does. Pretty scary.
Yeah. So that's a bit of ramp for you.
Yeah, we just do it. I mean, stats wise, it's great. Also, the force attack, I suppose, could get rid of if you kind of can't roll anything but Black Widows on their character faces. So one of the problems I had with Forge as well is that you always roll Forge on his character face, and then you can't do his Energize, and then he just stays in the field zone. But with this force attack, maybe you can clear out some of your Energize that you want to keep cycling around.
I don't think you're going to be clearing out your Doctor Strange, though, really.
Well, that's true.
With his 6-8-9 defense. Lovely. Cool. Okay, next up is another 4-cost. It is Deadpool. Ooh, this one I like. Deadpool is a 4-cost fist with the X-Men affiliation. He's from the one of the team packs associated with... Which one is it?
Yeah.
X-Force, right?
X-Force, yes.
His Energize ability says, your active character dice get +1 attack and +1 defense until end of turn, which compared to the one that people have been playing competitively, which gets a buff when he's blocked and also overcrush and has a useful global, this obviously hasn't seen much play. But on a fun team with Adam Warlock, I reckon this could be quite good.
Yeah, well, I think we'll come to why we think he's good and why he's been left in the midst of these other Infinity Gauntlet sets in a second, I guess. When we reveal the master plan.
In fact, I've got it's in the slideshow. So one of the things with this Energize thing is you actually have to have something useful to. Well, no, you have to, but it would be good if you had something useful to spend the energy on when you're rolling these dice to the double energy phase, like we mentioned earlier with Forge, spending it on God Catchers, for example. Well, one thing you could spend your fists on is the Primaris Aggressor global, we'll ignore his text, but the global says, pay 2 fists once per turn. All character dice get +1 attack until end of turn. So you could, if we switch back to Deadpool for a second, you can give your characters a buff with Deadpool if he lands on his double fist face, and then you can spend it on the Primaris Aggressor, which means they get another buff of +1, but so do your opponents. And then if you manage to do the Energize with Adam Warlock's ability, you can get a third buff, so all of your characters could get +3 attack, which seems pretty good value.
Yes, so it's pretty. It's a good part of the master plan that you've revealed there. Yes.
I'm sorry. Spoilers within spoilers.
Spoilers within spoilers. No, it's a great little combo that, if it comes off, could be really, really actually pretty strong. Especially, I mean, theoretically, you get a couple of these Deadpools, right? They're not that expensive for 4, especially since you're going to have a bunch of fist energy rolling around.
Okay.
In my head, that works really well all the time. So.
Yeah. Statistically, maybe not so much.
No.
Let's see what's next. We've got Gamora. Again, we're back to proper spoilers now. This is from Infinity Gauntlet. Very pretty card. Nice colours.
Ridiculously good-looking card, yeah.
Yeah. She's a 4-cost fist again, and she's obviously got the Guardians affiliation. It's the uncommon adventurer, and her Energize text is field a non-psychic character die from your use pile at level 1. She also has deadly, as is traditional. That's pretty good, Ben. You can, I think you can explain that one. That's nice.
Yeah. So theoretically, again, you could spend these 2 fists to buy a character for 2 fists. Her energy will go to use pile. You trigger with Adam Warlock, and then the character die you just bought, you could use Gamora's Energize effect to field that character dice you just bought, which could be cool with something like, I'm trying to think about, so maybe like Batiri battle stacks. I'm thinking, the 2-cost fist swarm that buffed each other. There's some other, there's like the Kuatoa swarm with Obscure in the Dungeons and Dragons. Obscure makes stuff unblockable, so that could be cool. But it's a way to theoretically field 2 non-psychic character dice from your use pile.
If you're not playing the Black Widow that we mentioned earlier, you could have the one from Avengers Infinity. Ooh. Pay the fists from Gamora for one of those that gives a buff when it's fielded. You finish the buying, and then you can field. No, you have to have one in your use pile already, right? So you would field that one when you do the Energize, and then use the fist to buy another one, and use Adam Warlock's ability to field that one as well, as long as you roll the Gamora on the fists again.
Yes.
And then you get double buffs. Ooh, we like double buffs.
Yeah, okay. I think the potential problem with this is you have to have a character in your use pile at the beginning of your turn, or certainly at the end of your, which might be a bit weird, but when we have like flooded bags and use piles as we do, this could be a way to cycle through something, and it doesn't. There's no limiter on the cost of the thing you've bought, so you could buy, if you have Gamora coming up, you could buy something beforehand.
Yep. Nice. Okay, let's go on to the next one. I don't know if we've got any more forecasts. I think we're moving on to more expensive ones now. Next one,
the ultimate plan.
Oh, right. Okay, so this is our last one. This is a 7-cost Captain Marvel. She's a 7-cost shield with the Avengers affiliation. She's a super rare reality gem, and her Energize is reroll all opposing character dice. Yay.
Easy.
Yeah. Good luck buying a 6-cost and a 7-cost, and then just rolling it to 2 energy.
And then the Deadpool dice that you bought as well for the 4-cost.
Yeah.
But I was saying earlier that you could theoretically use the fists on Deadpool for the Kree Captain Global or something and trigger it that way as well.
Yeah.
So use that to kind of buy the Captain Marvels. But yes, so our plan. So here's my master plan.
Yes, go on.
So you have you have an Adam Warlock in the field. Yep. You have bought Captain Marvel and Deadpool. You pull both Captain Marvel and Deadpool. You have all your sidekicks in the field or something, 3 sidekicks or whatever it is. You roll both Captain Marvel and Deadpool. You get the buff on all your characters. You re-roll all their characters. Both go to the use pile. You trigger them again with Adam Warlock. So everything's got +3 attack on your side, and your opponent probably has no dice left. Because generally, there's a 50-50 chance. If you do 50-50 twice, pretty good odds that your opponent won't have anything left.
Yes.
So that's my plan, and then you swing through for a win. Easy stuff.
All you need for that is a 6 cost, a 7 cost, a 4 cost, and rolling double energy on 2 dice. Characters in the field.
Yes.
And rolling 2 dice on energy twice. No problem. All flippancy aside, though, we should point out that there are other possibilities that we haven't explored. Generally speaking, you can only trigger Energize on your own turn, unless your opponent happens to reroll your dice with Becky or Danny Moonstar. But save that Black Widow mask to use a global on your opponent's turn, and Adam gives you possible removal at a potentially critical moment. And if the global you use is Clayface, and you have another Widow in used... Anyway, I'm sure you get the idea. If you think of any more great stuff that we've forgotten, please let us know in the comments. Okay. Thank you very much, Ben. It's a pleasure to talk to you. And thank you very much, Stephen. Thank you for the spoiler. It was much appreciated. And I think we're all looking forward now to the release of Infinity Gauntlet.
Very much so.
Bring it on. Thank you. Don't forget to check out the podcast and the other videos and like and subscribe and stuff like that. And take care. Bye-bye.
Bye.